The Super Bowl, America's game, the glory of victory, the spectacle, the legendary moments. Since January 1967, it served as the championship of American football in the USA and the unofficial, but in reality, the actual world championship of the sport. It's not the only big championship game of the sport. There's the Grey Cup in Canada, and the NCAA championship can claim to be almost as big. But the Super Bowl is the biggest event on America's sporting calendar. American football was first properly introduced to the UK in 1982, when the new Channel 4 broadcaster showed weekly highlights and the Super Bowl live. ITV Sport had been showing brief highlights of the big game in the years before, though. In 1984, some teams formed and played a non-organised schedule, and then in 1985, the first proper league season began, culminating in the Summer Bowl, won by the London Ravens. After that, the number of teams grew, and various leagues existed, playing at multiple levels. Leagues changed their organisation and names, teams folded and rebranded, and despite the lack of money and attention, the sport in the UK has survived to this day, despite competition from the World League of American Football, NFL Europe, and more recently, the European League of Football. Now teams compete in the British American Football Association National Leagues, and the Britbowl is the championship game of the men's full contact competition. And for the last 3 years, it's been hosted at the Butts Park Arena in Coventry. This year was Britbowll XXXVII. But today, if you're talking about very specific things about the actual sport of American football, then today I'm at the British equivalent of the Super Bowl. This is the Butts Park Arena in Coventry, and today I'm going to be watching the the championship game of the men's full contact National League. This is Britbowll XXXVII. This year's game was a rematch of Britbowll XXXVI when the London Warriors beat the Bristol Aztecs 31-10. The Warriors are currently the dominant team in the country, having reached the big game in each of the previous 5 seasons, winning 3. He missed out on 31, but won 27-30 and lost 25-26. That's 12 appearances in the last 13, winning 7. Bristol was looking for their first championship.
The transportation is due, but there was no escape from.
This is the first British game I've been to in 35 years, though I did go to a couple of London Monarchs games in the 1991 World League of American Football season. I never made it to whatever the championship game was back in the day, and given the number of leagues and name changes there have been, deciding which matches were classed as the previous Britbowl is a little bit complicated. Back in the day, there was a genuine belief that the sport would become something big domestically. Some of the bigger clubs would get attendances of up to 3,000 for a regular season match. There was money in the game, but in the mid-90s it began to fizzle out and the sport retracted and has been hanging on ever since. Now there is one league, the BAFA National Leagues, playing in 3 tiers split by regional divisions. The Premiership is the top level, consisting of 5 teams in the north and 6 in the south, though the players do not ensure a north-south final. As I said before, the London Warriors are the common dominant team in the country, and ended the season with a 9-0-1 record, their only blemish being a tie against their bowl game opponents. Apart from their numerous bowl victories, their other big claim to fame is being the original club of former NFL player F.A. Obada, who had a decent run in the league for a few years. Players of this level are amateurs, but there are some Americans with college and pro experience. For the vast majority, this is a passion, knowing that there's pretty much no chance of following in Obada's footsteps, and only a slim chance of making it up into the ELF. They take it seriously though, training a couple of times a week for up to 10 regular season matches a year, all over the country. In this game, the Warriors took a commanding 14-3 lead in the first quarter, but the Aztecs didn't panic and the defence held firm while the offence gradually chipped away at London's lead to get a 14-9 score. They traded touchdowns and the half ended 21-16 in London's favour. The second half was one of attrition, with London adding a field goal and Bristol responding in the third quarter. But it was the fourth quarter where things heated up. Bristol forced a fumble and a huge return almost went all the way in. turning the momentum of the game in their favour. London almost managed a goal line stand, but eventually Bristol forced their way over the line, and a 2-point conversion put them a field goal ahead at 24-27. London tried to get downfield, but Bristol forced another fumble, and the final few minutes belonged to the Aztecs, who ran the clock down to their glory. 2025 has been a great year for new and long-awaited glory in football, rugby league and rugby union. And now British American football can be added to that list, with Bristol claiming their first ever national championship. The price for the players? A medal, and knowing that all their hard work ended in glory. No money, no fame, but a mention on their local news. But that's all. And next season, most of them will be back again, training, studying and playing, for nothing more than the pleasure and satisfaction of being the best in the country in the sport that they love.